Alright guys, Papa Pepper here. Just wanted to talk to you guys tonight about some of the phrases that people use and the way that they actually probably started and things like that, because there's a lot of slang phrases, a lot of things that people just kind of throw around. But now that I've been living this homesteading life, it's really taken and put some things in context to us. One of the simplest ones, happened this morning, and I've thought about it more often recently. But, people say don't cry over spilled milk. And we're so disconnected from everything. Like, what's that mean when somebody, isn't careful at Walmart and a gallon falls on the floor? Like, don't cry over spilled milk. Walmart makes a ton of money. Sure, some packaging got wasted, some milk got wasted, and, $3.58, went down the drain or something. But in this life, sitting here on the homestead, when I wake up and I head down and I'm actually milking my goat, Daisy, and I sit there with her for a while, and I'm the one milking that. And then I had actually a bucket. I wasn't using Mama's milker this morning. She's tweaking some things with the whole milk setup she made, which is really cool. You just push a vacuum sealer and it sucks the milk into a jar. Closed system. I should have been using it. If I would have knocked that over, it wouldn't have had the same effect. But I just milked into a bucket, and I didn't have the bucket secure anywhere. Normally I give it to one of the little peppers or something if I'm going to be traveling, but not what happened today. So I took a turn, and the milk spilled, and it's a whole different feeling. When you actually, not that people don't put forth the work to go to the store and buy something, but when you're there connected to the animal, feeding the animal, taking care of the animal, they're milking the animal, collecting the milk, taking care of it yourself, it's a whole different thing. So I can kind of understand too, even with children being raised up in certain environments and learning life, really, kind of in its rawest and purest form, that they may be very concerned if they did something like spilt some milk, and but then their parents would be the ones to tell them, don't cry over spilled milk. It's okay, we'll make more tomorrow. And then another one is don't count your eggs till they're hatched. I mean, people can say that with investments. People can say that in other, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to make this much money. And somebody said, well, don't count your eggs till they're hatched. But we're getting in this time of year where we're going to start letting our hens sit again. And last year we had 2 hens that sat a while. They each sat on, a small cluster of eggs. We wound up with actually 3 chickens coming out. 2 hens and a rooster, and one of those hens was killed by a hawk a while ago. So out of all the eggs that our roosters sat on, our chickens sat on last year, we got 1 hen and 1 rooster. That was our first time, and there's some things we can do to improve things in the future. I'm looking forward to applying that this time. But you look at all those eggs and you're like, wow, just think of all the chickens we're going to have. And not so. You don't count your eggs till they're hatched. And like I said, I'll keep you guys posted as we try again this year. We're getting about to the point where we're going to start setting them up to go again and see what happens. But then the other one is probably the most heart-wrenching and difficult situation of actually learning what a phrase meant. And I didn't really seek any of this out. I'm like, oh, what do these phrases mean? And do a Google search and figure it out. But what happened is we got some Muscovy ducks last year. We got a gray female, and we got a black female, and then a black feathered male. And the black female chose one of the chicken nesting boxes and began sitting on a clutch of eggs there. And we were so excited, because ducklings are cool. It's neat to see that type of stuff. I'm going to get this shadow off my chin. There we go. Anyway, it was exciting. It was good to see. We were happy about it. We were looking forward to the whole thing. And one night with the back door, you could close it and it would stay shut, but then you could also latch it. And one of the little peppers went to shut up the animals, and they just closed the door. They didn't latch it. And at some point that night, probably a possum, but it could have been a raccoon, opened that door and had a feast that night. Killed that duck. And like a sitting duck, she had her job. She was doing her job. She was incubating her eggs. She was taking care of what was important to her in this world. And like a sitting duck, she was taken. And she was killed. and that was it. It's part of life. There's things, and I'm a strong proponent and believer that, if you're going to keep animals, they've got to be in places where they can have the freedom to live a certain lifestyle, and not just in some cage being fed, but that they should be safe. They should be safe. And, one little error one night cost that duck her life, and then of course her eggs didn't hatch and stuff like that either. But you hear about like a sitting duck, and I don't really think about having a duck, having it sitting there on its nest, having it then just be killed because it was on its nest and a predator came. But it's a whole different perspective out here on the homestead. So I still got to figure out the whole like shooting fish in a barrel. I don't even maybe want to know the context of that. But anyway, as I kind of think about where some of these phrases come from, where some of these things that people say actually, and how disconnected we are. Like they used to mean something, and generation passed them on to the next generation, and now people say these things, but a lot of times they're very disconnected. I know that I always was. I didn't really think about any of that stuff, I suppose, like a sitting duck, yeah, it's probably a lot easier to walk up to it at the park and blast it with a shotgun when it's sitting there on the shore than when it's flying through the air. But, just never bothered to really consider these things. But I'm glad that we're doing our things for a lot of reasons. Really are. But I'm glad that in the midst of it, we're becoming more connected to, I believe, kind of life. An interaction with the plants, the animals, the world around us, and a real connection to things in a way that it's more pure, it's more organic, it's less consumerized, commercialized, over-processed, and it's a blessing. Like I said, it comes with heartache and hardships too, but it's a blessing. All right, guys, pop out.